I'm now sharing my presentation. Hopefully you can, I'm not sure if you can see it in full screen, but anyhow, I think it's readable. Okay, good, thanks. So some experience from coming from European Union and Finland, some good practice cases and a little bit about how things are done here. So I'm coming from the Ministry of Environment of Finland and been working there a couple of years, but I have quite long experience working with the sustainable public procurement myself. So to start with, so public procurement law, it's European Union law, but of course we have the national act also. And the law, it permits, but it doesn't require us to use ecolabeled issues. But in the Procurement Act, there are these kind of settings that need to be taken into account when you are asking for environmental issues within public procurement. So first of all, so the set of requirements concerning the criteria, they need to be related to the object of the acquisition and the suitable for defining its characteristics. And the labels requirements, they are based on impartially verifiable and non-discriminatory criteria. And also the procedure, how the labels are confirmed, they should include authorities, consumers, social partners, manufacturers, trade representatives, and independent organizations in the decision making. And also it should be that it is possible to get the label for all the concerned actors. And other things also there are that the requirements set for the label are drawn by third party whom the supplier applying for the mark cannot exercise decisive influence. And the final thing to take into account is that the tenderer can demonstrate the compliance with the requirements with the environmental label, ecolabel, or with other technical documentations. So this is the basic set that within the European Union we can ask for ecolabeled products and taking these kind of things into account. And right now in Finland we have update work going on with our national procurement law, and there's going to be sort of a more straightforward verbal thing saying that how you can actually use ecolabels within your tendering. Within Finland, we have mainly two types of ecolabels which we use, and the most known, famous, and the most used one is the Nordic ecolabel. It usually it is said it's a sworn label. It was founded already in 1989, and all the Nordic countries are working within the label. And Nordic ecolabel, the Swan, it is awarded only to the best products and services from a very wide environmental point of view. So it takes into account variety of environmental aspects: climate change, biodiversity, chemicals, circularity, reuse of materials, issues. And the requirements are confirmed by the Nordic Environmental Labeling Board for products and services, and the manufacturer, importer, or the service provider can apply for the label. And there are over 50 different product or service groups that there are these criteria. And in the market, there are over 15,000 sworn labeled products and services in Finland. In other Nordic countries, the number may vary a little bit. And if you compare it to the EU ecolabel named EU flower, it was established or founded a couple of years after 92, and it also has quite advanced award criteria. But if you are looking at the sworn criteria and the flower criteria, so the sworn criteria mainly they are more demanding than the flower criteria. So if you want to have this kind of the most environmentally friendly product or services, mainly then you should use the criteria for the Nordic ecolabel or directly ask for Nordic Swan labeled product or service. Also, there are a little bit less categories within the EU flower ecolabel, so 30 different product groups, but the number of the different ecolabeled products is much higher within the all EU markets, so over 90,000 different products are available. Also, because we have this kind of common European-wide procurement directive, so the labeling, how to use the ecolabels in tendering and contract period processes is the similar within all the EU countries. So mainly there are 3 different ways how you can tender and ask for ecolabeled products or services. So the first and the most sort of so you really know that you can get the ecolabeled product is using it as a minimum requirement in the description of the object of the acquisition. So this is the way that you are certainly getting the ecolabeled product or service. But it is advised that it is only used in the cases that you really know that in the markets there are several products with the ecolabels, and also that this is something important you as an procurer for your organization. The other type is that you use it as a fulfillment of the environmental label obligation during the contract period. So during the contract period time, you do active cooperation with the provider, and they can show during the period contract time that they are having the label. So this can be used when there are not so many ecolabeled products, so to increase and create a demand for the ecolabeled products and services. The third type to use ecolabels is use it as an additional point in the quality comparison, but this doesn't guarantee that the selection of the ecolabeled product or services. And if this is something is very important or strategic goal for your purchasing unit, maybe this is not the way to do it. But when there is just very little or limited ecolabeled products in the markets, this might be a good idea to start with. Then a couple of words about the both the swan and the flower ecolabels, that they are life cycle approach labels. So they include everything from the raw material, designing, production, distribution, usage of the products, and the waste and recycling. All these phases of the life cycle of the product is taken into account. And in Finland, we have this kind of guide for public procurers that which categories are advised to perhage as ecolabels. And mainly we are talking here about the Swan ecolabel. So buildings, construction products, furniture, clothes, textiles, hygiene, healthcare supplies, cleaning services, office equipment, kitchen accessories, and also accommodation and restaurant services. So there are plenty of these available with this Swan label. Then a couple of words about not just ecolabels, but the way that within the European Union we have this kind of European voluntary green public procurement criteria, which are based on the research done by the Joint Research Centre of the EU. And the voluntary green public procurement criteria, EU GGB. So you here can see that there are plenty of different categories there. And you can use these criteria instead of the ecolabel if you see that the ecolabels might be having too demanding criteria, or in the markets there aren't so many eco-labeled products to make an enough receiving enough tenders. So this is an option to think about when you are perhaging things. Then my last slide is about that. So using the ecolabels and using the EU GBP criteria, it is voluntary, but we have quite a few legal requirements within the EU legislation that are mandatory for all public procurers. And Clean Vehicles Directive, Energy Efficient Directive, Energy Performance of Buildings, and also Eco-Design for Sustainable Products Regulation, which has over 30 different product groups within, have already these kind of mandatory requirements. And there are several other ones which are in the process. So batteries regulation and the revisions for energy performance, and also for the construction products and packaging waste regulations. So while the demanding the eco-labeled products or services is voluntary, so there are plenty of issues that are already legal requirements for public procurers to really put in the tenders and make sure that the tenders are according to those. So thank you. This is my presentation.
Thank you very much, Sala. Gracias otra vez, Sala. Muy inspiradora.
Thank you very much, Sala. Very inspiring, all of these examples that you've been able to show us. And now we are going to our final presenter. And so I'm very happy to have had the honor to be able to have all of you speak. And now we have Eva Fernandez to present examples from Latin America in terms of sustainable public procurement. And so the floor is yours, Eva, and you can share your screen. All right, so I'm sharing my screen. Yes, perfect. And so my name is Eva Fernandez. Thank you for the invitation. And I have been working, and I discuss public procurement products I have more than 20 years with regard to these issues. And so I would like to discuss a bit about what is the FSC, the Forest Stewardship Council. We are an organization that creates norms and standards for that to be able to improve confidence and to be able to promote healthy forests and resilient forests that are sustainable in a sustainable way. We understand from our last studies that we have with our FSC standards and products. We understand from this standard in Latin America and in certain countries that we have 46% of consumers that recognize the FSC logo. We understand that 62% of worldwide consumers would choose a product that has been certified by FSC, and 80% of consumers that recognize that the FSC is something that shows trust and confidence. And as I have said, we are an international organization, a non-profit international organization, and we have had more than 30 years of operation around the world. We have more than 160 million certified hectares of forest. We have more than 12,000 other statistics as well with regard to our work. We also understand that we are a small brand with a big impact. And when you buy products with the FSC tag, you are helping us to help the forests and the persons that depend on them. We understand that protecting the forests that are endangered, that are old, this is an extremely important topic. We want to reach a point of zero deforestation. We want to conserve biodiversity. We want to be able to provide a salary that is sustainable for the people who depend on these products. We understand that the FSC is also in alignment with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. And so we align with these sustainability goals, and they indicate our work and support as well. We understand that the three themes that worry us the most, they are our most concerning, are the loss of biodiversity, climate change, and deforestation. We work with NGOs, consumers, and companies that are allies with us. We are working with all of them, working alongside them, alongside governments, to be able to work on the consumption, on the certification of forests and things like that. And here's a very quick view of the 33 countries around the world, and nearly half of these consumers recognize the FSC logo. And in Latin America, we have as well some 4,800 consumers that have been surveyed in 6 countries. With Brazil, we have all of these statistics here, and they also prefer certified products. We work with the forest management certification, with governments. We work with the governments with initiatives so that we can strengthen these value chains, and so that we can work to improve the chain of custody certification, and so that we can finally get a promotional license that has been branded by the FSC. And so this is important for being able to certify the forest as well as the chain of custodies. We have these products on screen as well with 3 standards to guarantee traceability of the materials. It is also designed for countries that have not been certified to sell products that have been branded with FSC, and to show a clear dedication towards the environment and to help these forests, so that people can learn that using these FSC products, this is giving them the support support to the market as well. And it shows that we have this dedication to the chain of custody and to help the environment. And so with regard to the countries, Ecuador, Bolivia, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, and in other countries as well, where we may not have offices, we also see, but we also see that we have wide impact all over Latin America. And so in Argentina, we have a recommendation document for sustainable public procurement of products that the government of Argentina recommends. And we understand that the Buenos Aires government has also generated much public information for public sensitization with regard to this eco-labeling. You know, we have pamphlets, we have public information, we have documents, we have pamphlets, and so we have many public materials. And so in Ecuador as well, in 2002, Ecuador also participated with the National Public Procurement Service. They also participated in a workshop regarding the standards that the FSC works towards initiating for many places and people. And this is all done to guarantee sustainability within the world of these interested parties, the providers of the state. And we also understand it's not only about the logo, but it is about the sustainable practices that helps us gain sustainability for forest and the forest products. And we understand also that the governments are recognizing these brands and these labels, and they are implementing them in their public policies in order to give guarantees and benefits for these certification products. And this is also helping the commercialization of these products that are now branded with these logos, with green labels, eco-labelings, and in Mexico as well. They are also working very close. We are also working very closely with the government for more than 20 years, really. And they established a certification system as well. And within this, we have 3 instruments of certification that have been integrated. And so they have standards which establish their principles, their criterias, their indicators, so that they can also reach a place where they can have full certification, and they recognize that this is important for sustainability. And we also have within the government of Mexico, they also have their National Forestry Commission. We understand that there are companies, there's economic support for this certification. We have subsidies, financial support, we have communities, we have small business owners that cover these associated costs with the goal of being able to maintain and work towards sustainability. And also in Peru, we also have a law that has to do with forestry and paper and wood. And so we understand it with these training workshops, technical assistance. We understand that with this law of paper and wood, they are also working towards sustainability. And with regard to Peru, they are also working very closely with us and with their authorities so that they can learn prioritization for these certified products. Within public procurement, we have the Peruvian Forestry Service, which are all working towards the certification, the integration of the chain of custody industry, and the declaration of sustainability. And they are known as CERFOR as well. And they prefer these certified products. And this CERFOR also has presented the terraza de madera sostenible or sustainable wood area.
We are also working in Chile with the law on sustainable procurement, where the use of this is promoted with use of office paper up to furniture, where preference is given to those products that have certification, FSC certification or the equivalent. We also have the first cooperative building that was certified using wood that was certified by FSC up to 93%. And our forests are our future, not only with the environmental perspective or climate change, but also it is the base of work and life of communities, of persons, indigenous populations, and many other workers along this supply chain, from the workers in the forest up to us consumers who receive these products for our offices or for our personal use. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you so much, Eva, for your presentation and for these rich examples as well. We have different manners that we can use the criteria of a certification. I would like to thank everyone that sent their questions as well. I have 3 questions here, but unfortunately, we do not have enough time to address these right now. We would also like to respect the time of everyone present. We are going to send these 3 questions that we've received to our speakers, and we are going to ask them to respond to them by email. Before we end, I would like to also mention that in this meeting, we were able to use different forms of eco-labels and policies in our public procurement. And we can see that all of these cases uses some sort of tool or the other, and a lot of them actually complement each other. And I think that that is a key message that we want to take away, that these eco-labels and these certifications and sustainable procurement, when used together in these distinct forms of using them, can generate a greater impact on our productions of consumption and production. So to end our webinar, I thank you so much, all of our panelists, for sharing these ideas with us, with all of for sharing these inspiring examples with us as well. I also thank our interpreting team. Thank you so much for your work today. And thank you to all of you for your participation and for your interest in this topic. I hope that you enjoyed today's session. And I hope to see you again in our upcoming events with EcoAdvance and the Consumer Information Program. Thank you so much and see you again soon.